Hello. I'm gonna wait just a minute while people get on and just keep looking through my notes here. Also, let me see if I can share the video. I'm just sharing this into my group, into the Creativity Club, so those guys can see it too while we're waiting. How are y'all doing tonight? Y'all ready to do some intention setting? I've got a little bit of set up for the whole month I'm going to talk about before we get started. And so one of the reasons for me running my own business, honestly, has to do with just the quality of life that I want to have, right? I think that we should have the ability to take vacation. I think we should be able to take care of ourselves. I think we should be able to eat well. I think we should be able to use natural products. And so I'm just, like everything I do, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm living the life that I want to live and inspiring you guys to do that as well. So super, super, super excited to be doing this for the month of July. I know we're on day 6 already, but I've been posting into the Creativity Club. I think everybody who's on with me right now is in the Creativity Club already, so y'all should be seeing those posts. But I sent emails. If you're not on my email list, I'm sending out emails as well. Kind of longer, kind of like blog posts, but just to you guys. So first thing is, what causes fear, right? Obviously, you have to know where it's coming from in order to handle it, right? You need to know who your enemy is. So basically, once you understand that fear is a natural body process, that it's not really something that's outside of ourselves, that it's not our boss, it's not in charge of us, that is where you can actually start to move forward. So the thing that I talked about in these 2 emails is that basically fear is your reaction to the unknown. It is a resistance to any sort of change, be that change positive or negative. And y'all give me thumbs up if this is making sense to you guys. It's anything. So it could be, should I move to Wisconsin? Right? Immediately, you're going to have fear triggers of, will I be able to find a job? How will I get a house? How will I sell my house? Where will the kids go to school? All of this stuff. So that is a reaction to that change, right? Now, moving to Wisconsin could be a terrible idea, but it could also be the best thing that ever happens to you. But it's your body's job to make you stop and say, is this a good idea, right? Not only is it's in your body, but more particularly it's happening in your brain, right? So you have a left brain and you have a right brain. And I think all of us creative people, we know a lot about this. So, okay, if we're creative people, which I think all of us are on this call, you have any sort of creative bone in your body, then you know that that's your right side, right? The right side of your brain is the one that is creative, the one that takes in lots of information, compiles it together. It's the one that we often call the heart, or that we call your gut feeling. Your left brain is your logical, numerical, vocabulary brain, the one that speaks in sentences. So when you're hearing yourself say, but how am I going to find a job? How am I going to sell my house? That's your left side of your brain making sentences at you. And because it can speak in sentences, we think that it's smarter than the right brain, which is inarticulate, right? The right brain, which just knows, and knows in a way that is just as important, but not as logical. If you've ever had a hunch and then your hunch was proved right, or like when you meet somebody for the first time and you just know if they're a good person, you know if they're going to treat you right, you know things about that person. That's happening in the right side of your brain. That is not a left brain function. So the right side of your brain is incredibly important. And so what you want to say in the email, what I said was basically, fear is like a giant door, right? You're walking down the path, your path on your way to where you want to go, and all of a sudden there's a giant door there. And this door is fear, and fear is saying, this is a decision you have to make. This is important. You're going to have to pull the handle and go through here, or you're going to have to say, no, it's not worth it, and turn around and walk away. Hey, Laura. So basically what fear is saying is, pay attention, pay attention. It's not saying bad. We think it's saying bad, but it's not saying bad. It's saying pay attention. Okay, so that's super important. So what you say is you say, hello, door of fear. Thank you for pointing this out to me. This is a super important decision. I'm going to use my right brain, ask it how it feels about this, and then I'm going to listen to my left brain, give me all of these potential negatives and potential positives. It can do that too. And we're going to have a discussion together, and then we're going to decide this. And we're not going to decide this just based on a reaction to the fact that there's a door there. Does that make sense? Just the fact that there's a door, like if you walk into a house, someone's house, and you need to use their restroom, well, there's a door in front of the restroom. You don't just decide, I don't have to go because there's a door there, right? That's a silly example, but like, just because it's there doesn't mean it's bad. It just means pay attention. So, should you just never listen to fear? No, that is not what I'm saying. I'm not saying anytime you're afraid, ignore it. What I'm saying is have a conversation with it, right? Say, I hear you, I realize this is important, and now I am going to take a moment and I'm going to decide, okay? And what we're going to talk about all next week is how you know whether you're making the right decision or not, okay? And that's super important. But before you do this, how do you get fear to shut up? If you say, fear, I don't want to talk to you, I want to talk to my left brain and my right brain, and I want to make an intelligent decision. The way that you settle yourself down, you pull yourself back from the cliff, you stop listening to fear, is by getting yourself in the mindset of, this is not a life and death situation. We do not need to be in fight or flight mode. There is not a Tyrannosaurus Rex or a pterodactyl or whatever following us, right? This is a decision that will be fine. Once I make the decision and move forward, everything will be fine. You need to say, everything is okay. So that is why this week what we started with was abundance, okay? So someone write down what you think abundance is in the comments for me. I would love to hear your thoughts on what does abundance mean. I'll tell you a little bit about the way that I first began discovering abundance. Hey Daniel, how are you? The way I first started discovering abundance was January 1st of 2017. I started writing down every morning one great thing that had happened to me yesterday and my intention for that day, right? Hey Ida. Okay, so I then, rather than just having blank pieces of paper, I actually created this little book, which I know I've shown you guys before. So my intention setting for daily life, and it has in here, my writing is all over this, but it has in here these two questions, right? What great thing happened yesterday, and then today's intention. And so basically, what you have to do is you have to understand, I woke up today, something great happened to me yesterday, something great can happen to me today. And when you put yourself in that mindset, you are several steps back from fight or flight. If you wake up, you roll out of the bed and you say, oh, I cannot believe I have to go to work today. Ugh. Or spill coffee on yourself and, and like, there goes my day. You are already right at the line of fight or flight, right? You are there. So every decision that you have to make, your body is already in fear mode. Okay, so Laura says, I feel like abundance is having more than enough for me and enough to share. And Dawn, that's what you said as well. Abundance is having more than enough, right? So as I was preparing, so I've been doing that for a long time, and I started seeing, the more that I thought about the great things that were happening, the more great things started happening, right? And you can say that I was just paying attention, and that's partly true, but also, it really does matter. The attitude that you give towards the world is what you get back. I talked about, last week I think it was, I talked about the fact that basically the world is an algorithm just like Facebook, right? If you give out positivity, then people interact with you that way. If you give out negativity, people interact with you that way too. Carrie, having everything and more than I need to live the life of my dreams. This includes giving back. Yes, because I think you're not abundant until you realize you have more than you need. Does that make sense? Yes, and you, because money is not abundance, having a car that you want is not abundance, getting something that you want is not abundance, because guess what? There's something on the other side of that. There's another thing on the other side of that. There's another thing on the other side of that. It is never ending, okay? So, you know, you can think about this: relationships. You're not in a relationship. Then you get in a relationship. Then you wish it was a better relationship. Then you're in a good relationship. Then you want a kid. Then you get a kid. Then you want another kid. Then you get another kid. Then you want a dog. You know, like whatever the case may be. I think about this a lot of times, right? Like what we're going to talk about next week is where do you want to be eventually? We're going to map that out. Use hope to map out what we want our life to look like. But I don't want to have everything right this second. Because then, if I had everything right now, what would I do, right? Like, what would be the point of that? If I already had a brownstone that was above a little shop that had a tea shop, and we did live music and we had events there, and I taught people about natural health, you know, then I would have to come up with something else. But what abundance is standing there for a minute and just saying, oh my goodness, I already have what I need, and it's just going to get better. So y'all know my day job, a few days a week, I work at Trader Joe's, and I pretty much just work in their flower section. That's one of my abundance things. I was a manager for them for a long time, so I kind of just get to do whatever I want to now. And working with flowers is gorgeous, right? But I was sitting, you know, and I often spend my time there thinking, boy, I wish I was doing XYZ for my business, right? But the other day, a couple of weeks ago, I was standing there and I was thinking about my business, and I was putting flowers on a shelf, and I was talking to whoever came by. And of course, I always have opportunities to talk about natural health and wellness and abundance and all that stuff with customers. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my goodness, I'm abundant. Like, I already have wellness. I'm not sick anymore. I have my passion for my business, and I'm fulfilled because I'm working towards making that business happen. That is all you need, right? That is all I need, and the rest is just details. Okay? So, basically, this is the mindset that we need to spend the next few days getting into. You need to wake up in the morning and you need to think about all of the wonderful things that you have, okay? So, the next step. Who here has done an affirmation before? You can give me a thumbs up, you know, or a heart or whatever if you've used affirmations before. I grew up very religious. My parents were Presbyterian. I am still personally religious, although not church religious. But basically, my mother, who is like the sweetest person ever, she prays every single day and does a quiet time. And as I found myself doing this, writing these things out in the morning, I thought, oh my goodness, I'm my mother. This is what my mother did, and this is why my mom is a very calm, very caring, very abundant person, because she spends every morning thinking about that. You know, it just suddenly occurred to me, this is not something she had to do because somebody told her to from a pulpit. She does this because this totally works. So, like, lesson learned, you know, do what your mom says. But anyway, so I started from writing things down. I took the next step. Once I started using essential oils, I took the next step to actually do an affirmation out loud, because I think that saying it out loud is so much more powerful than just thinking it, because you can put more emotion into it, right? And so I told you guys about the 3 oils that I wanted everybody to use this month, and I picked them for very particular reasons, but we're going to focus mostly on abundance. But it's abundance. These are all blends that are created for these particular emotions. Hope is the second one, and we're going to focus on that next week. And then motivation. So basically, what I set up for myself for this whole month were affirmations that would get me from, hey Alan, were affirmations that would get me from a state of fear, which I'm going to be totally honest, we're doing this at least 50% for me. I'm a very intelligent person, and intelligent people tend to be worriers, right? Because my brain, just goes all the time. Hard to shut it down. You know, I stopped drinking very much because that's not good for my health, right? It messes with my inflammation. So then, if you don't have wine to go to sleep at night, even more, and that's why I started using lavender, which works great. But I needed a way to actually work through it systematically. So Carrie started a new journal system, and it includes this, morning and evening. Basically the goals that I want to see in my life as if they were already real right now, around abundance and happiness. I can't see the rest of it. Yes, you have to believe that they are going to happen. Absolutely. And Carrie, I know that you do. You've got a very detailed plan of how you're going to get where you want to go. And people who can do that are the people who make it. And that's what we're going to set up. That's all next week is the plan. And then after that is the motivation. So we're doing this very systematically, but we're laying the groundwork at abundance, okay? So I want to show you guys how I do my affirmations. And there's a formula that I use just to make it super simple, and also so it's teachable to you guys. So what you're going to do is what you're doing is releasing an emotion you don't want anymore and replacing it with a positive emotion that you do want, right? Hey Nathan, how's it going? So the line that you can write this down, I'll also put it in the comments, but the line that you want to use is, I release the trapped emotion of blank, which no longer serves me in a positive and productive manner. So what you're saying is that, you know, sometimes, like if you have, like mine might be hesitation. I might have needed to hesitate at points in my life, but this is not one of them. So I'm releasing that emotion. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm letting go of it, okay? And I'm choosing something else instead. So, okay. So I'm going to show you motivation, because I did the other two already tonight, and I'm just going to, you just put a drop in your hand, okay? 1 or 2. They say swirl it around 3 times. That makes the oil go into your skin faster. I have no idea if that's a thing or not, but you're going to breathe it in. And guys, can I tell you, if you've ever been to the beach, sunscreen, like the vinyl chairs, the wind, and like chlorine from the pool, that is literally what this smells like to me. I like almost cry every time I smell it, and I love the beach so much. Anyways, okay, so why do we breathe in? Someone tell me if you know, but the reason you breathe in is because when you breathe in the molecules of the oil, it goes directly into the limbic system of the brain, and the limbic system of the brain is your emotion center, right? Actually, they call it the lizard brain because it's not the non-logical part of the brain. It's like not the smart part, it's the emotional part. So what we're doing is we're going to listen to the right side of our brain, have a conversation with the left side of our brain, and then we're going to affect the part that we can't really communicate with, but is affected by smells, using the essential oils, right? So you breathe that in, and then you're going to say your affirmation. So it starts with, for me, I chose hesitation, and I'll go through how to choose in a minute, but I release the trapped emotion of hesitation, which no longer serves me in a positive and productive manner. I release the trapped emotion of hesitation, which no longer serves me in a positive and productive manner. I release the trapped emotion of hesitation, which no longer serves me in a positive and productive manner. And you say it 3 times, and the reason that you do that is also scientific, because the thoughts in your brain are the synapses firing along like a train track, an actual ridge of space that has been set up by having had that thought before. That's the layman's terms. But basically, you have a thought, like 80% of our thoughts are thoughts that we've already had before, okay? So you have this thought, you have it again, you have it again, you have it again, and that train track gets very smooth. It's very easy to run over. And so that thought pops into your head very quickly. That's why it takes 21 days to come up with a new habit, because it takes 21 days to build a new track. That was what the studies had shown. So what you're doing is you're repeating this multiple times to set that track in your brain. So the first time I did these, I didn't have it memorized, and it took me a little, okay, I released the, what do I say? I released the track, and now I can just say it like that, and that thought has gotten stronger in my brain. Does that make sense? So that's super, super key. Hey, Stephanie. So what you're going to do, Ida, so I'm going to explain it to you again, but so I release the trapped emotion of blank, which no longer serves me in a positive and productive manner. Okay? So, you're going to do that for abundance, you're going to do that for hope, and you're going to do that for motivation. So here's what you have to do. This is going to be kind of a homework part of this. I want you to think about abundance. What's your opposite fear of that? Okay? Dawn, I know that you've already done this too, so you can chime in whenever. But if abundance for me, if it's having plenty, the opposite emotion for me is apprehension, a fear that I won't have enough or I will lose it. You could be dread, something like that. But something where you're a fear that you won't have abundance, that you won't have enough, whatever word that is for you. Okay, then for hope, hope is basically knowing where I want to be and believing I can get there. So for me, the opposite was confusion, because I tend to be kind of scatterbrained, and I didn't want to, I wanted to be able to say, no, this is where I'm going, and I'm going to get there. This is where I'm going, and I'm going to get there. So the opposite for me is confusion. And then motivation, the opposite for me is hesitation. So if I'm raring to go, that's great. Hesitation is that fear of like, I don't know if I'm making the right decision here, and that's not going to get you anywhere good. So Dawn, your opposite of abundance is anxiety from fear of lack. So you can say anxiety from fear of lack, or you can just say anxiety and know what you mean, just depending on how wordy you want to be. But you want to take abundance, hope, motivation, and then you want to find the opposites of those. Okay, so that's step one. Step two is going to be give a sentence around the opposite of the negative. So we're doubling up. So if for example, motivation, for me, after I've said I release the trapped emotion of hesitation, which no longer serves me in a positive and productive manner 3 times, then I say my sentence. My sentence is, I choose passion to help others find wellness, purpose, and fulfillment. I choose a passion to help others find wellness, purpose, and fulfillment. I choose a passion to help others find wellness, purpose, and fulfillment. So that is my motivator. That's what I want to do, and that is what's going to keep me motivated instead of hesitating. So you create that sentence, and then whatever that sentence is, you're going to say, I choose it, I believe it, I manifest it. I'll write all this down for you guys because I know this is a lot of information. Jen, my opposite of abundance is incompetence or not being good enough to do my job. That's great. So your fear is that you won't have what you need or what you desire because you can't do it. So I would release the trapped emotion of incompetence. I release the trapped emotion of incompetence, which no longer serves me in a positive and productive manner. And then your sentences may be, I choose the ability to get where I want in life. I choose the ability to get where I want in life. I believe I can get where I want in life. I believe I manifest the ability to get where I want in life. Does that make sense? So you're going to choose, believe, and manifest, okay? And the reason, guys, that the oils are so important to this, I know a lot of y'all are going to get the oils. The reason you want to get it sooner rather than later is because they are affecting your brain. I'm telling you, I almost cry when I breathe this motivation one in. It's my favorite one. I used abundance all last month, so I'm really used to it by now. But it affects you. I can feel it right here when I breathe that in. And it gets you in that mindset, and you're going to be triggering those positive beliefs in yourself whenever you use the oils. So you're saying it to yourself, you're releasing something negative, you're saying I can do this, and then you are reinforcing that with the essential oils, right? So I'm doing this every morning and every night. And no one panic, I'll write down the instructions for you again. I'll do it in a post. But that's what I want you guys to do. No, that's okay, Jen. So those oils are not in the starter kit, like the big one. What you were wanting to do was the basic starter kit, which is 45. You would do that, and then you would get these oils as well. And we can chat about how to do that. But it's abundance, motivation, and hope. And I can send you all the info on how to get them. I want to say it's like $177 total. That's with the discount, and you get the discount on anything else that you buy. And y'all, the plan is for me to do this for 6 months, and there's going to be oils for each one that I'm going to be buying and using, and I recommend obviously for you guys to do it too. Some months there's only like one oil, some months there's 2, some months there's 3. It's based on a whole plan that I have set out. So we're starting with getting rid of fear, and we're going to end up totally transformed. So there's a long game here. This is part of my not confusion but hope, right? I have a long game so that I will not get confused, so that I'm giving you great content. But there are oils to reinforce it so that you're actually changing your physiology as well, and not just like hoping and dreaming that this is going to happen. So y'all know I'm a crystal person too, right? So if you have a crystal that you want to use already, fantastic. If you want to get one from me, also fantastic. I wrapped up, I have these ones that are the wire wrapped beads. I don't know if you can see that, but they're gorgeous. And they're very easy for me to, to make for everybody. And so it's really easy for me to take whatever crystal you need and wrap it for you. I think they're just $30. I dropped the price recently because I wanted everybody to be able to afford to have one. But the recommended crystals for this month are Amazonite, citrine, onyx, and smoky quartz. And I only had one smoky quartz, which is actually on this gorgeous piece, this guy. But citrine, onyx, and Amazonite. So I chose for myself the onyx. This is all on the website too. If you want the particulars, just go to the blog of each of the different crystals. But onyx, I chose because it neutralizes fear of failure. It promotes, nope, that's smoky quartz, hold on. It alleviates fear, obviously, but it anchors flightiness and helps you make wise decisions. So again, all of my things within hope are about not being scatterbrained and about making wise decisions. So that's why I'm gonna be wearing onyx all month. Okay. So when you do your affirmations in the morning, you have that crystal with you, and you wear that throughout the day, and that reminds you of your affirmations. So you're doing them in the morning, you're wearing your crystal throughout the day, so you're reminded you're doing them at night again before you go to sleep, and repeat. Rinse, reuse, recycle, whatever it is. Basically treat this like you're doing a 30-day cleanse, okay? It's going to be a 6-month cleanse, but like you're doing a 30-day cleanse, because, like I said, 21 days to form a habit. If you put this effort in every single day, and it's like, what, total, we're talking 15 minutes here, right? Maybe 7 in the morning, 7 at night, and then you've got your crystal throughout the day. It can change your life. Why would you not do that? Why would you not spend 7 minutes in the morning to totally revolutionize your life? It's like, it just makes sense. And then you're not worried. We usually worry about all the things that we want to change, and we waste our entire day doing that rather than spending 7 minutes. Okay. Soapbox over. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to think about, we're going to do our intention setting now, which is why we're here, ultimately. I want you to think about what is the biggest fear. You can do 3 if you want, the ones that go with abundance, hope, and motivation, but what is the fear that you are going to get over this month? And feel free to put it into the comments and share it with us so that we can encourage you in that throughout the month. But what is the one fear? I'm going to give everybody a few minutes, a few seconds. We probably already all know this. I'm going to guess that you guys have been thinking about this as I've been posting. But standing out, Ida, okay. Fear of standing out. We were talking about style earlier today, right? And I think that's, the thing about it is, you grew up in Brooklyn, right? So everybody here is totally different. Like, that's just the thing to be. And I wonder if part of it is moving somewhere where people are a lot the same, if that has become harder for you. I don't know if that's like a subconscious thing. I know when I'm in Birmingham that it's just like weird. Everyone wears loafers and like their collars are popped. And I'm wearing like a 1950s inspired dress with crystals, Guilt and failure. Okay, so Jen, that is fantastic. So I would say for you, even more importantly, to do these every day, because that the fact that you can do this every day is going to be a great boost of confidence for you, obviously. No, you've always been that way. Yeah. So that's great. I think that learning to be unique is going to make a huge difference in your business, because you have to be unique. And, you know, that's what we keep saying, right? You got to have your unique position. And if you're afraid to be unique, then you're afraid to run a business. So, super key. Carrie, letting go, trusting in my business. Yeah, that's the teacher thing we were talking about. We both have left and right brain equally. And we just want to control the heck out of everything. And sometimes you just can't. And a lot of times, hey, Craig, and a lot of times you just... you don't do your best work that way. I don't do my best work that way. The jewelry that I make when I'm stressed out about making jewelry is not nearly as pretty as the stuff when I'm just like, oh, I'm just going to make it because I love making it. Okay, Dawn, I'm going to conquer the fear of embracing who I am and what I am called to do. Okay, so Craig, being broke. Yes, the Brooklyn problem, the world problem these days. And honestly, this is where that abundance comes in. When you just realize, if you focus on everything that you do have and try as much as you can to not focus on that lack, on the financial lack, you will be able to get the money more quickly. I firmly believe that, than if you're focused on getting the money, right? You have talent, you have friends, you have a relationship, you have a great city to live in, you have an apartment, like all of those things. And then if you're focused on that, then that opens doors. If you focus on hanging out with friends, you might meet somebody that way. If you focus on, you know, all of those other things, that's how the money comes, rather than just being afraid not to have money. And I'm experienced, right? Okay, so what you have to do, you've got your main thing, right? This is my affirmation. I put it right above my computer, so I cannot go to work without doing it. I will see it and I will stop myself and say, you can't work until you have done your affirmations. And I wrote it down just so it's very easy. So I'll probably just take a picture of this and post it up so that I don't have to explain it all. It's just written out. So I want you to do a daily affirmation with your oils and setting your gratitude journal, right? And the link for the gratitude, for the intention setting workbook is tinyurl.com/intention setting workbook. So you can get the one that I use, you can get that for free. Just go to that link. Okay. Second thing, which we have not covered yet. I want you to, this evening or tomorrow, I want you to write down all of the things that you learned how to do within the past year. You didn't know how to do them a year ago, or you can do 2 years or whatever, but now you know how to do them. A lot of our fear, when we get to that door, the fear door, and we have to decide whether or not to turn the handle, for me anyway, a lot of that fear is, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know if I can do it. And if you just think for 2 seconds even about, I didn't know how to do Facebook Live. Like 2 years ago, I didn't make jewelry. I didn't know how to write a blog, build a website, start a Facebook group, have an Etsy shop. Like all of these things, like how to run a business. You know, I have worked for businesses. I've managed businesses. I've managed, you know, I've sold $5,000 flutes for a living. Like I know, you know, there were a lot of things I knew how to do, but that had to do with selling things, but that did not stop me from being terrified of every single thing to do with running a new business, right? And yet, I know all of those things. And I love doing Facebook Live. And if I had gotten to the door of should I do Facebook Live or not and said, nope, that's too scary, and walked away, like where would I be? I would not be, I wouldn't know hardly any of you guys, right? We would not be having this conversation. We would not be breaking through fear together. So if you will take a moment and write down all of the things that you have learned in the past 2 years, you will be shocked. And then if you just post that up on your wall, you will realize if your excuse for not doing something is I'm afraid I won't know how, you will figure it out. And then You'll know how to do it, and it'll be easier, and you'll forget that you were ever afraid of it. And then the third thing is, if you didn't, a lot of you, the guys that got the oils, right, as a prize, because I love prizes, I sent y'all this book. I hope I screw this up. If you already have the oils, or you don't want to get oils or whatever, I still recommend buying the book. It is like $15 plus tax on Amazon, and it is worth every penny. It is the quickest read ever. It's like some guy sits down next to you on the subway, and he starts rambling at you. I know Don's already started reading it. You see all those hearts. It's like some guy starts rambling to you, and you're like, who is this guy? Like, is this guy a comedian? Like, why is he cracking jokes? I don't get this. And then, like, 5 minutes in, you're like, oh my goodness, this guy is a genius. He's like a guru. So it really took me by surprise. He wastes no time trying to make you think he's smart, which I can appreciate. He's not like, I have a PhD in anything. He's just like, I'm figuring this out, and you're going to figure it out with me, and I'm going to say a bunch of insightful stuff, and you're going to be changed. So, yeah, Ida, seriously, pick it up. I read it in like 3 days, I think, because it was just that riveting. But that will give you a lot of the thoughts that I have are based on life, obviously, that book and like 5 other books. It's crazy and it's good. It's crazy good. Yeah, Don. So anyway, not everything that I'm telling you is in that book, and I certainly won't be saying it the same way that he says it, because we're 2 totally different people, but it will get you thinking along the lines and get you inspired without me having to be sitting in your living room all the time. So who has questions? Go ahead and let me know. I promised you guys, I don't know if you saw the post, so y'all know I'm doing the coaching calls now, and I promised everybody who jumped on live tonight that you can have a coaching call for $30. You could have a 45-minute coaching call with me for $30. So if you want to do that, you just go to the website. I'll post the link, lulamaydesign.com/coaching, and choose the initial Let's Get Started, I think is what it's called, and use the code No More Fear, all caps. And we can sit down for 45 minutes together, Skype or Facebook Messenger. There's a video and a voice chat. We can call on the phone. We can do it however you want to, but we can get into what your fear issue is. We can get into what affirmations you should use. We can get into, the obstacles that you're trying to overcome, really anything. The thing that I offer is just being very, very, very creative and also very logical, right? I have the left brain, right brain thing pretty much down the middle. And I think that makes me weird, but I love that because it helps me to have insight and then communicate it to you. So that is a unique thing about me that I have realized over time was something a lot of people didn't have, just being a manager. We used to laugh at Trader Joe's. They're like, Erin, when you get out of here, you're going to be like a therapist or something. And I don't want to be a therapist because I don't want to talk about negative stuff. I want to be a life coach because I want to talk about positive things. So I'm more than happy to do that for you guys. We can have an in-depth conversation, that's more than just me talking to the whole group. Ida, can you do the affirmations without the oils to start with? Of course, yes. You should start tonight. You should figure it out, and you should do it every day, and then when your oils come, you should start doing it with your oils. You will get more out of it with the oils, but that by no means means that you won't get something out of it without it, right? Anything is better than nothing, and saying it out loud and with purpose and with emotion is very important as well. So say it loud, say it strong, go in your bathroom if you need to do that, but say it out loud. And then all of a sudden you'll realize you're not even embarrassed by it. Like, I was doing it in the middle of the room today, and Alan walked by and he's like, I don't know what you're doing there. I'm like, I don't care, I'm just doing my affirmations. Because you realize what a change it makes and how important it is, and then you don't care, who knows. I think that is all that I had. If you have questions about the oils, questions about crystals, questions about coaching, obviously ask me. If I'm going to post the affirmation and how to do that. If you have questions about anything else, the one more thing. Every day at 5 a.m. on the weekdays and I think like at 8 on the weekends, I have scheduled a post in the Creativity Club that is either an inspirational thing for you or a little like questionnaire for you to take or a little exercise for you to do. So I want you to every day, I already know, you wake up and you look at your phone and you look at Facebook, first thing, I know. I want you to, when you look at Facebook, go to the Creativity Club and look at that affirmation, positive, fear-reducing thing that I've put there for you to start your day, okay? So I worked really hard in coming up with one for every day of the month, so do me a favor and look at them, but the reason I'm doing them is so that you can be starting in a good place every day. I think that is all that I have. We're done at 9:45. That makes me very excited. I was afraid it would be a whole hour, but I like the intention ones to be a little bit shorter because, you know, that and the releasing, let's just get on and move on with our lives. If anybody has any questions, post them below. I will be around for a little while. You can message me, and that is fine too. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. I'm super, super excited. I'm so glad y'all are as excited as I am. I love you very much. I'm just tickled pink for you to all be joining me. And that is all I have to say. So y'all have a lovely night. And that is it. Thank you, guys. Yay, July. I will see y'all soon.